We are almost done Sfirat Omer. Yesterday was the 46th day of the Omer. Today we're going to be counting Netzach of Malchut, concluding the week of the Malchut, concluding the Sfirat Omer. And Netzach of Malchut, I hope you are following the previous classes, because the weeks are always the Chesed, Gvura, and the Tiferet. Everybody, they all accommodate each other, and it's like a build-up. So the Netzach of the Malchut, Bechlal, we're talking about it, then the whole week of Malchut is referring to the leader, the king. But we are also a miniature king. I'm also a miniature leader. And I have to look at myself as this leader. And even if I lead one person, and we talked about it last week, sometimes I come to a class and there's one person. And if you remember last week, you even said, what, you're still going to teach? Yeah, there's one person. Yeah? And there's a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. Many people have the custom now in the summer to learn Pirkei Avot. So there's a Mishnah in Tractate Avot that it says, if 10 men are sitting together and learning, Shechina shruya b'nehem. The Shechina is dwelling there. And if it's not 10 men, even if it's 3 men, they learn Torah, Hashem is still there. And it says, and even if one person learns, and he calls the name of Hashem, Hashem is sitting in front of him and learning Torah with him. And you know how many times it was just me learning Torah with myself? We advertised the class, and you know who showed up? The fly on the wall. So go Hashem, no questions, the fly doesn't ask questions, he's not rude, well he is rude, but nevertheless, the Torah need to be taught and learned not for the crowd, for the sake of the Torah. So it's not the quantity, rather the quality. And many times I've been in situations that the class or the lecture was one person or 2 people. And I told you that numerous times, that not too long ago I was invited to a lecture in Westchester. I drove a whole hour and a half, and I got there, the person is standing outside, all white. And I tell him, why you look so disappointed and white? He's like, because nobody showed up. And I told him, well, you're here. And he's like, well, it's only 3 of us. Me, my wife, and 2 other people that came. So I said, that's 4 people. That's, you know what we can do with 4 people? He's like, I don't know, there's some type of game tonight. Nobody showed up. And these 4 people, first of all, that lecture went for 7 hours. And if you remember, if you listen to a lot of my videos, I'm sure you heard me once saying that I came back from a lecture and I put a CD in of music, and then I was like, I don't want to listen, I'm going to learn Torah. That's the lecture. 7 hours. We started at 8, we finished at 3 in the morning. Anyways, this lecture was so powerful that it affected these 4 people in such a powerful way that their lives are completely changed, because it was private and one-on-one. 7 hours. We were talking and backwards and forth, and we started with my near-death experience, and then it went into so many questions. But the host of the house, the woman from that night, started covering her hair, baking challah, family purity, just the woman from the house. So, and the man who invited me, because of that, he started initiating a class. The first videos, if you look at my stuff online, you'll see they're very bad quality videos. It's the class that person initiated, and we started every Wednesday a class. Because of that night, it was a very powerful night. So it's not the quantity, rather the quality. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I can be a leader or a king to one person. I don't have to be a leader of 50 million people. So the Kabbalistic term to that is called Zeir Anpin. Small. You're king. You're a leader, but small. So the whole week of Malchut, yes, we're looking at the Melech, at the king, but we're also looking at my own kingdom and my own domain. The most, or I don't want to say the most, I'll take it back. One of the most important characteristics of a king is that he's constantly in control. Can you imagine a real king losing control? That's not a good king, that he loses control. In our generation, most of the leaders of the world are like that, can lose control. And that's how dangerous it is, because all it takes is one leader to get offended and press the button. You saw now, I don't want to talk Lashon Hara about Trump, but he went now to England and right away he said something not nice about the mayor of London. Right away. So and I'm not judging anybody, and I'm not putting an opinion. He right away said something not nice about the mayor of London. Ooh, I mean, this can get somebody very angry, and woof, right away erupt a very bad situation. So the leaders in our generations, they don't show what's called ipuk, restraint. They don't show that they're in control. A good king, a real good king, one of the most important characteristics is called control. Self-control. They're constantly in control. Now, if the person loses control, then he's not worthy to be a king. I'm talking about a real king right now. When I look at a king, I look at King David. I look at Moshe Rabbeinu, at Yosef, he was a king. Not looking at the king of Amsterdam, of Holland. But nevertheless, not that I know him, but I'm just saying, I'm talking about the real kings. Now, when it comes to my own world, I also have to now look, how am I behaving when it comes to control? Now, when is a good leadership tested? Not when things are calm, when there's a crisis. Well, that's when you test the leader, not when everything is good. And when everything is calm and peaceful, then everybody is in control. But the leader is tested when there's chaos, or when there's a huge crisis, or when there's a storm. Something's going on. Now let's see if you keep your calm, or if you also lose your calmness. When there's a big shake, something is big, a big thing going on, then most people, they lose their direction. If there's a fire, a storm, whatever it is, a disaster, that's when you see people, they lose control. And very few people, they know how to keep calm in a state of emergency. Now, dafka, when something like this happens, dafka means specifically, when a crisis happens, that's when you need to have control. If you lose control, when a problem arises, that's what good is it? I specifically, when something happens, sometimes, Baruch Hashem, I have many little kids. Little kids, they're wild and they get hurt. So it happens sometimes that the kids play outside. Suddenly one of the kids will come in with a bleeding nose. And always my wife, she freaks out. And I'm like, okay, it's okay. I also had some bleeding nose in my life. And she was like, how are you always so calm? I just see the blood, I get all... I said, because now is the time to be calm. Can you imagine me now being all uptight? What good would it do? It's not good for the situation, definitely not good for the bleeding, and definitely not good for me. So specifically, at the time of crisis, that's when I need to apply control, not to lose control. This is really the Netzach of Malchut, is the ability to win. If you remember, the last few weeks when we talked about Netzach, I talked about winning. Netzach can be eternal, nitzchiyut, but Netzach is also nitzachon, to win, to overpower. So the Netzach of the Malchut is that I'm overpowering and I'm able to have the upper hand. I'm the king right now. I'm in control of the situation right now. This is Netzach Malchut. Now, where do you see in history that a king lost control? One of the good examples is Shaul. Shaul got under pressure, he lost control. And right away, what was the result? He lost the position. He lost his kingship, and David HaMelech took over. Now, I want to take from that, again, we're not looking now for a big king. I'm looking to me, I am a king. I am a king in my own domain, and even if it's a king over myself. But a good king is when he has control over situations and when most people lose control. Now, when a good king has control, from which attribute is it coming from? Is it coming from ge'ava? No, I'm in move, I can do it. That's where it's coming from. Some people, their ego, their ge'ava is so out of control. I can do it. Well, I don't think you can. No, I can do everything. Some people, that's where it's coming from. The king, when he's in control, it's not coming from ge'ava. It's not coming from my ego. It's only coming from one place, and that's called bitachon. That the person has faith in Hashem. So I have 100% confidence because Hashem is here. So I'm just a tool here. So when a king has this confidence, it's coming only from a good place, which is bitachon in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, having faith and trust in Hashem. So the characteristic of Netzach is that constantly Hashem is going to put me in a test. In case you haven't noticed, your day is full of tests, and your whole life is going to be full of tests. There's no such a thing that you reach to a certain age and tests finish. This is not when you go to retire. I'm 65, no more tests anymore. You are tested till the last breath of your life. You're going to be tested, and the more you grow, the tests will increase, and also in the intensity of the test. The more the test is strong, that's how much Hashem wants to elevate you. A test, by the way, is a promotion. Hashem is telling you, in other words, you are being promoted right now. I want to see if you're worthy of the new position. So I'm constantly going to be tested. When Hashem is testing me, He is already putting in the test the solution. Which means if Hashem already gave me the test, Hashem is already telling me, you already have all the capabilities, all the powers, all the abilities and the knowledge to go through this test. I'm not going to give you a test that you're not going to be able to pass. How do I pass the test? There's only one trick, is that I trust Hashem. I don't have to be a professional in tests. There's no guide to how to pass the test. Sometimes the test will be parnasa, with my livelihood. The next day will be with my health. The next day will be with my kids. The next day will be all of them together. There's no guide how to pass the test. There's only one key, and that's trusting in Hashem. When I trust in Hashem, everything works. If I don't trust in Hashem, then the test, I'm not going to be able to pass it. The test, ultimately, is how much trust you have in Hashem. How am I going to get money today? Trust in Hashem. Remember the story I told you with the cash that was hidden in the pillowcase? I mean, that was, if you don't know the story, go to listen to the video online. And this is, Hashem is, I have a lot of material for classes from all the tests that Hashem is putting me through. But one time we needed a large amount of money. If we wouldn't get this large amount of money on that specific day, checks will bounce, everything would completely collapse. And there was no way of getting that money. The only way was to get cash. And I was going through the metal boxes, the pushkot. Here's a shekel and 20 agorot. And what do you know? The Kadosh Baruch Hu, with a lot of bitachon, suddenly, somehow, my wife went to pick something from somebody. You have to hear the whole story. And what is left in a pillowcase in a hotel? A stash of cash of the exact amount that I needed. And that was a 5-digit amount that we needed. If I wouldn't put it in the bank, you have to hear the whole story. The story is recorded online. You see where the Kadosh Baruch Hu can make anything, whenever He wants, however He wants. All He says is, you trust me, you have faith in me, you're going to walk through a wall. You have to hear the whole story to see the miraculous act here. And we needed a huge amount of money. And I was running from one place to the other, to the bank, and there was no other way. And suddenly, frantically, a person is calling my wife and tells her, you have to do me a favor. I left something very valuable in this hotel. Happens to be that my wife was on a bus exactly a minute before the stop to get off exactly where he needed her. She goes there, and what did he leave in a pillowcase in the hotel? A lot of cash. And my wife suddenly comes home with a stash this big of cash. And I'm like, how? Where? And you know what? Hashem came to the rescue. All it took is to take the phone call. I told the person, chick-chack, and I used the cash. I come into the bank with the cash. They even couldn't believe that I walk in with the cash. And this was like a 5-digit amount. It's not like $300. So how do you pass the test? Only bitachon. I am sure you remember a lot of my stories. The story with the hurricane in Florida and Boston and the passports and I have a lot of material. So now I was in Florida a while, not too long ago, and the person who hosted me, probably she's now going to watch the video, she called me Obi Kenobi. So, or maybe I'm saying it wrong, but the guy from Star Wars, Obi Kenobi, or Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I'm the only person on this planet that flew transatlantic without passports. I just went on a plane without a passport with my daughter. I'm sure you remember the story in Boston. Nevertheless, this is the Kadosh. I'm sure you remember the story. My. So only trust in Hashem. You trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, everything opens. The sea will split. Everything will move for you. If you trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Nisayon evaporates in front of your face. This is the Netzach in me. This is the power of the Sphira of Netzach, and the Netzach of the Malchut is that I am calm through all situations. I don't lose control. I don't lose my calmness, so my reactions are calculated. Most people, their reactions are wrong because they lose control. So Netzach of Malchut is the power in me that I'm controlling the situation and I don't lose control. Now, practically saying, because we want to apply that, is you have to ask yourself, do you lose control in situations? You have to be honest. And if you lose control, and of course I'm talking about times of pressure, and of course the more pressure there is, then there's more question if you're going to lose control. The practical part is that the next time you are under pressure and you're about to lose control is you stop when the situation is happening and you take a deep breath and you saying, this is a test. This is a test from the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And you know what the test is? Not to lose control. Is to stay calm, and Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to take care of everything. You know how I look at tests? That the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, your test is not to find the solution. Your test is to keep calm. I will find the solution. You keep calm, I will come with a solution. You don't keep calm, then you're going to have to figure out a solution, and you won't. Because Hashem is holding the keys of solution. Hashem has keys like this, and He says, I have the keys of the solutions. You don't. You are required to stay calm. Hashem will find the solution. That's the test. And you know what? We all have this power. Each and every one of you has this power in him or in her not to lose control. So the next time there's a situation, you take a deep breath and you're saying, Hashem is testing me if I'm losing control. Hashem is in control. Hashem has the solution. I am 100% calm. And you see that the Kadosh Baruch Hu will dish out the solution, and you'll be shocked how the Kadosh Baruch Hu is so creative and so able to control the situation. You'll be shocked how the Kadosh Baruch Hu is just handing it over. Let Hashem do His thing. Suddenly somebody, Erev Shabbat, sent me a video. I told you already many times, I don't look at videos when people send it to me, especially if it goes over 1 minute and 20 seconds. I'm not going to watch it. But nevertheless, somebody sent to me, I don't even know why I watched it. A person said about a story that they had Erev Shabbat about a miracle. So I said, Hashem made a miracle, I have to advertise it. Okay, the miracle was not so amazing. For him it was amazing. But nevertheless, Hashem does a miracle, you advertise it. That's what Hashem wants. Hashem wants you to advertise what He did to you. So next time you have a test, you have to remember the test is not to find the solution. Whether it's how am I going to get the money, how am I going to get this to work, how am I going to make this work? Hashem says, I am the solution. You just calm down. You calm down, I'll do the rest.